Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. The thick woods of Humboldt County, California can swallow animal carcasses long before anyone finds them. These woods, overflowing with life, are also full of risk. In the remote stretches of California, Highway 299 winds and climbs its way through the rugged Sierra Nevada mountains as it makes its way toward Nevada. Travelers seem to think that it belongs to the civilized human world, but Mother Nature always holds the deed on wilderness and exercises the right to reclaim ownership whenever she wants. It was a crisp golden morning, the kind of day when fog burns off early and the redwoods seem to stretch even higher against the sky. That stretch of highway near Berry Summit was busy, and many of the travelers knew it well, the way the road hugs the hillsides and dips through shadowy canyons, lined with Douglas fir and red alder, where deer graze lazily, and the air is scented with elderberry blossoms and pine. This time of year, the huckleberry bushes along the shoulders are heavy with fruit, and the salal and grapes sprawl thick and green underfoot, hiding rabbits and sometimes the flash of a coyote's tail. The place always feels alive, wild in a way you don't notice, until it suddenly rises up and reminds you. That morning it did just that. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. On the morning of Sunday, June 29th, 2025, a line of commuters was near the summit. Black bears, increasingly emboldened and numerous in these parts, traverse this land as they have for millennia, searching for berries, roots, and carrion along the roadside and beyond. A dozen cars crept up the grade toward Berry Summit when traffic ahead slowed to a crawl. Likely a logging truck is lumbering along, or maybe some tourists are snapping pictures of elk in the meadows below. But then a great dark shape lying awkwardly across the asphalt just beyond a bend came into view. The bear wasn't dead, at least not yet. Its massive head rose and fell, one paw clawed feebly at the pavement, trying and failing to right itself. Many vehicles pulled over to take in the oddity. Some drivers just sat in their cars. Others stood along the roadside whispering or holding their phones. The bear was enormous, a male, pushing 400 pounds, and its black fur shone dully matted with blood. One of its back legs twisted at a painful angle. The guardrail bore a fresh dent near where it must have tried to drag itself off the road. Nobody knew what else to do after calling 911. Among the witnesses, whom we'll call Darren, was a 59-year-old man from Sawyer, one of the small communities that dot this part of the Trinity River Canyon. Darren stepped out of his truck, a stout fellow, in his late 50s with a kind face and weathered hands. He didn't say much, just shook his head and walked straight up to the bear, as though he meant to apologize. Compelled by a mixture of guilt and compassion, believing he may have been the driver who struck the animal, Darren tried to coax it back into the forest. Observers later recounted how he knelt by the bear, hands outstretched, murmuring to it as though to soothe its pain. Onlookers watched as he crouched low, talking softly, reaching his hands toward the animal. At first the bear didn't move. It just stared at him with dark, shining eyes, breath rattling in its chest. He put a hand on its flank and gently pushed it toward the forest, and that's when it happened. In that quiet and tender moment, the wilderness reminded everyone watching that it does not bend easily to human mercy. The bear, still very much alive and terrified despite its wounds, lashed out suddenly. Its powerful jaws clamped on the man's left forearm, its teeth puncturing deep into muscle and bone. He fell back, yelling, and the bear let go, but blood was already pooling on the pavement. For a few seconds, nobody moved. Then a woman, later we'd find out she was an off-duty EMT, darted from the crowd and dropped to her knees beside him. She wrapped a tourniquet around his arm with a calm efficiency that almost didn't seem real, and soon the wail of an ambulance could be heard winding up the grade. The medics loaded him onto a stretcher and carried him away. Darren was transported to a local hospital. Officials confirmed later that while his injuries were serious, he was expected to recover. For the bear, however, there would be no rescue. It lay still after that, breathing shallowly. When the wildlife officers arrived, they confirmed what we already suspected. The animal's injuries from the collision were fatal, and by then it had already slipped away. Wildlife officers from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife examined the body and collected tissue samples as part of their standard post-mortem protocol. The attack has stirred conversations about the increasingly fraught intersections between people and wildlife in California. Sergeant Caleb Carsey of the California Highway Patrol spoke candidly to reporters afterward. Expressing surprise that a Good Samaritan had been bitten while trying to help, he warned the public that even injured wildlife can be unpredictable and deadly, emphasizing that people should never attempt to handle wild animals themselves. They're still wild, they're scared, hurt, and see you as a threat, he noted solemnly. This tragedy also shines a light on the broader context of black bear populations and road mortality in California. Humboldt County harbors one of the highest bear densities in the state, thanks to its expansive forests and healthy food supply. While no official census exists for Humboldt County specifically, the statewide black bear population is estimated to number in the thousands, with several hundred bears inhabiting each major coastal county. California's recently released Black Bear Conservation Plan, the first in nearly 3 decades, warns that vehicle collisions now pose one of the leading threats to bears. Between 2016 and 2020, at least 557 black bears were killed on California highways, though experts believe this figure underestimates the true toll. Many incidents, particularly in remote regions like Humboldt, go unreported and unrecorded. Notably, such collisions often occur at night when bears cross roads under the cover of darkness. Seeing a daylight accident involving a bear of this size, followed by an attack on a human, is exceedingly rare, and underscores just how unpredictable these encounters can be. Wildlife advocates point to the role of fragmented habitat in the absence of wildlife crossings, in the increasing risk of these deadly interactions. With large plant eaters like elk and deer also commonly struck by vehicles in these forests, it becomes clear how dangerous these roads are for both people and animals. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Was the man's decision to approach the bear a tragic error in judgment or a brave act of compassion? Had Darren done the right thing by trying to help, or had his mercy only deepened the bear's fear and pain? Would a wildlife corridor or fencing have kept the bear from crossing there in the first place? And what does it say about us, cutting highways through ancient bear trails, and then being shocked when wild things still walk them? These are questions that deserve thoughtful consideration, especially in a county where the line between civilization and wilderness remains thin. I'll gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.